All right. I'm Rebecca Hay, and I've built a successful interior design business by trial and error, podcasts, online courses, and so many freaking books. Over the last decade, I've grown from an insecure student to having false starts to careers, and now I'm finally in the place where I want to be. Throughout my journey, it's been pretty obvious that I'm passionate about business and helping other entrepreneurs do the same. Each week, I'll share tangible takeaways from my own experience and the experiences of other badass women to help you build your confidence and change your business. Krystal Ryan, welcome to the podcast. I can't believe after all this time, this is your first time on the podcast. So welcome. I'm excited to have you.
This is my first time on any podcast. Great debut.
Woohoo! I'm very honored to be your first. Do you want to introduce yourself to our listeners today?
Yeah, so I'm Krystal Ryan. I live in Haliburton County in Ontario, so I'm not far from the GTA. 37-year-old mother, wife. I was actually a paramedic for 15 years before I switched gears and went into the design industry. I resigned in 2022, and that's when I launched my business, the Ryan Suite. And I didn't really know where I was headed at first. I just knew I needed a shift. I like helping people. So I actually started as a virtual assistant to designers to start learning the ins and outs of the industry, because it just seemed big and scary starting a design firm, and I didn't really have the experience. So that's what I've been doing for the last year and a half, is supporting designers.
Okay, first of all, I love that you were a paramedic, just like another OG in our community, Jamie Sparling, who was also a paramedic and then became an interior designer, which feels like such a giant leap from one to the other. But like you said, you're helping people, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and my husband and I, we're on our fifth home, and we've renovated, we've finished new builds. My husband is also a full-time paramedic, and he runs a construction business part-time on the side. So we've kind of been in it for a while. So I always knew I had that passion, and I needed a plan B.
I love that. So it kind of comes naturally, like you were already kind of dabbling in that world. So it feels like a natural progression to go from, the internet's not very strong. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. I just got a little notification. Hopefully everyone can hear us. I'm at the cottage right now for those who are listening. So I'm in a different setup. I'm actually not far from Haliburton. Not close, but I'm not far. So things are a little bit wonky here on my end. What was the impetus? Like, what made you decide, okay, I'm going to resign and I'm going to do this thing full time? Did you feel confident that you were already getting clients and you had enough revenue to kind of replace your income as a paramedic? Like, talk to me about that.
Not at all.
Really scary.
Not at all. So when COVID hit, frontline healthcare was just a dumpster fire. It was really tough. I was finding that the stress level was building. It was taking me away from my family, the shift work. It was just leading to a lot of burnout. And that's when I had to make a decision that, regardless of income, of anything, pensions, all that stuff, they call it the golden handcuffs. I had to make that tough decision to walk away from it and then kind of figure out my plan B. So I launched my business. I think it was like November of 2022, and I resigned at the end of December of that year. So I kind of already had a plan in place. And I was just letting the pieces fall together as they came. So I had learned about virtual assistants, and I thought, okay, this might be something that I could do. They talk about niching down. I like interior design down to that. And I created an Instagram account. I started getting clients that way. But no, there was no replacing of revenue, of income, anything. There still hasn't been that, to be honest, but I just had to learn that money isn't everything, and it just, I couldn't keep going down the route that I was.
So I really love that you shared that because those golden handcuffs are a real thing. And I know many people who've been in that situation where they're afraid
Hmm.
because I imagine, I don't know, as a paramedic, do you have like a pension? Like, are you kind of set up for life in a way? If you one day
Yes,
decide to retire, like you're pretty
yes,
set, right?
yes.
Yeah, that must have been tough, but like
Hmm.
kind of also
Hmm.
exciting.
It's true. It's true. It was. And I think it was so hard to just get to that decision. But once the decision was made, it felt like a weight was lifted. It was so much easier. I felt like I could finally prioritize like my family, my husband, and just sleep at night. That was the thing. I had to train myself to sleep again throughout the night because night shifts were killing me. So yeah, we just kind of hit the ground running with that. I make my own schedule. I'm really light right now with my clients and my caseload. We're in the summer. I have two kids. It's busy. Um, so doing that for the past year and a half, I've learned a lot. And it was actually your designers meetup in January. We share the same birthday. So I thought that would be great. We would go and celebrate our birthday together. Yeah.
Totally. I forgot. I have a
Um,
picture of us
that's
on
when I
that
met
day.
you.
We'll have to use that picture when we promote the podcast. So
Yes.
good.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So, um, and that was great meeting other designers all at different stages. But then it was through chatting with you that you mentioned Jamie Sparling of Authentic Armor. And I just thought, holy crap, here's paramedic gone, interior designer gone, now business and lifestyle coach. I thought I have to meet this girl. So I quickly reached out to her. We got connected. And honestly, Jamie has changed so much for me this year. It was just like a breath of fresh air, because at the start of this year, I still didn't know where I was headed. I didn't know, do I want to start my own design firm? Do I want to keep going with just supporting designers? What do I want to do? And it was through her that I learned it's okay to still not know what you want to do. And I'm all about learning, trying things, pivoting things. And she actually led me to the power process. So that's how I got enrolled there.
I love that. I love Jamie. We have an
Yeah.
episode and we'll link it in the show notes. I've recorded, I think, one or maybe even two episodes with Jamie here, and she shares
Yes.
her whole story, the trauma and the PTSD that
Yes.
she went through
Yes.
as a paramedic and where it led her and where she is now. She's doing like mindset and life coaching, which is amazing.
Yes.
I love that she led you to POP. So let's talk about that. You took Power of
Yes.
Process.
Yes.
You took it. It sounds to
Yes.
me like what I'm hearing is you were like, I need some direction on where I'm taking this design business VA whatever thing. So
Mhm.
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What like she
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
said take it, but why did you think, okay, I'm signing up for this course?
Yeah. So I'm the type of person that if I know there's a course or there's an opportunity to learn something, like I'm all over it. If I don't have the money for it, like I'll find the money for it. And I was actually considering Power Process last fall. And I thought, well, I just kind of took a course right before that. And I thought at some point I'm going to have to just start implementing rather than learning and doing nothing with it. So through talking with Jamie about the power process, it was just a no-brainer. She's like, yes, if you're feeling stuck, if you have imposter syndrome, if there's something holding you back from getting going, do it. Now, the other part of this too is, and you're very familiar with the Clifton Strengths Test. Jamie got me onto that, and I learned a lot about myself. But one of my big things is I'm an analytical person. So I value systems and processes. I need a blueprint for things. And that's what the power process brought me was a whole system, from start to finish, the whole client process. And in a year and a half that I've been studying interior design business and trying to get a grasp on how to run things, I had never come across anything like I did in Power Process. And it was just like so much clarity, the networking with other designers at different stages in their businesses. It was exactly what I needed. And again, it just fed that analytical side of me. And another one of my strengths is I'm a relator. So it was so easy to talk to the other designers and the newbies and the ones that have been in business for 10 years. It just, I don't know. It truly is a little community.
Oh my gosh, I love all the things you're saying. And
Mhm.
I love it's so true. It is really like a blueprint. And if you're someone who's feeling a little scattered and feeling like, I don't know, what do I do first? What do I do next? Am I
Yeah.
doing the right thing? Like you said,
Mhm.
imposter syndrome is a real thing. And it's
It
so
is.
helpful to know how other people are doing it and not just how I do it, but you see, as you mentioned, the community inside Pop, you see how other designers are implementing what they learned. They share
Mhm.
their process. They share, here's what I did the last time that happened to me. And then you can really get the confidence. So, what's
Mhm.
changed for you? I mean, you just took the course, so it's pretty fresh.
Yeah. Yes.
What have you implemented or what have you changed? What is what's it look like now?
So for me, it hasn't changed a lot of anything right now. And I find that's partly because I took it, we got right into summer holidays. I have two kids, it's busy. And like I said, I've created this business for myself so that I can prioritize those things. However, what's great about it is you can keep jumping back into the portal. You can still rewatch the videos. You can still utilize the materials that were shared. So what I've done is I love Canva, and you've shared a couple of templates in Pop, which was helpful. So what I've done is I've gone into Canva and I've set up the checklist, the what to expect at the consultations, what to expect on trade day, all those things, putting your own brand on it. I did a lot of that. And I tried to keep up with following along with the course as we went. But what's great is you don't have to do it week by week by week. You can just jump back in and do it at your own pace, which is wonderful. So where I'm at right now is I'm still not sure if I'm going to launch a design firm. But what I do know is I can take the materials that I've learned and help other designers through my own business in, if there's a little spot in their client process that they're stuck with, that I can learn, or I can take what I've learned from Pop and help them implement systems in their business. Again, I just love that analytical side of things. And I do know that, if life starts to slow down a little for me and I still want to launch my own design services, like I'm set. Like I'm ready to do it. And I have the confidence. I've networked. I continue to network with some of the other women that I met in the course, and they've become close friends of mine. And it's just great. Like the community that you're fostering through this, I love it.
I love that. I love that. I also
Mhm.
love that you're doing like you're VAing for other interior designers. So like designers listening today, correct me if I'm wrong, they can reach out to you and they can hire you to help them with the back end. Is this
Mhm.
correct? You're still doing that.
Yeah. 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 So the way I started with my VA business was I was kind of doing like a whole slew of services because at first I didn't know what I like doing, what I think designers are going to get from my services. And then I really started to niche down based on my skill set and what I like doing. So in the beginning, I was doing a lot of admin, I was doing some social media managing. Those are things that I found that I just didn't love doing. I have a love hate relationship with Instagram. You'll see, like, if you go to my account today, I don't think I've posted since like, I don't know, the beginning of June, maybe. And for me, I'm okay with that. Like, I I want clients to come to me because they heard of, another client that has used me and enjoyed the experience and the output. Um, so I started going back to where I was going with that. I started with a whole bunch of different services, and then I really started to narrow it down based on the experience I was gaining. So right now in my business, I do a lot of SketchUp and layout, so construction documents for designers. I love doing that. I've become really good and efficient at that. And I find that's a skill set that a lot of designers don't possess in their business. So they outsource that a lot. And I love doing that. I like putting their client presentations together, whether that's in layout or Canva or Google Slides. I find designers are all trying to just reduce costs as much as they can and use those good programs like Google Suite. Like it's a dream. It's free. Like I don't know why more designers aren't using that to their abilities. But again, in Canva's great. I love Canva. So, I help a lot of designers with their client presentations there. And yeah, I love doing the construction drawings. And I found I want this to be lucrative for me as well. And I, for me, and being just like a solopreneur, the admin, the social media managing, I didn't find it was benefiting me as well as the designer.
I love that. I love that. And I think that a lot of designers are going to be like, Krystal, I need your help. Also, I keep thinking, I feel like there could be some synergy there between us and like power of process and like you helping people implement what they learn because you and I need to talk offline. I feel
Yeah,
like there could be a little bit of a collaboration there. Uh, how many
I would love
designers
to.
take pop and then they're like, oh my gosh, can I just pay someone to now put all my thoughts and ideas into Canva or into
Yes.
whatever you have it. So there could be a done for you opportunity this time around. Krystal and I are going to chat offline.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
and
it.
I understand it's hard for designers to outsource. It's hard for them to give up that control. Like, I myself, I can be a bit of a control freak and I like things done a certain way. And I know that's a big fear for designers when they're outsourcing. How is somebody going to do it as good as we do it? Or is this just going to take up more of my time getting somebody orientated? And yes, it's going to take a bit of time in the beginning, but once you establish that relationship and you have, someone like me in your back pocket, it's on a project by project basis. It's handy, I started with doing the monthly chunks of hours. But then I found some designers were like carrying those over because they weren't using them up. And I thought, this is kind of silly. Let's just do it on as needed basis, straight hourly, project by project. You can use me when you need me and not have to feel tied down to this bank of hours. That's what has worked
Mhm.
for me in my business.
I love it. I love how you took power of process and you were not looking to create a full service interior design firm. I think it's a really great reminder for those listening, maybe if you're on the fence to taking pop, that you don't have to have a high end
Mm-hmm.
luxury full service interior design firm in order to take power of process, implement
Exactly.
systems in your business. Like you're using what you learned
Mm-hmm.
inside your VA, like you're helping interior designers as a VA, like that is helping you. I bet you've set up process with those designers, right? So there's so
Yes.
much that can be learned.
Yes.
I really love that. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. This is amazing. Before we sign off,
Thank you for having me.
where could you tell everyone where can they find and follow you for more
So
of the Ryan Suite?
yeah, I do check Instagram regularly. I'm not posting all the time, but I'm on there. I see the DMs. So I am at the Ryan Suite, SUITE, on Instagram. If somebody wants to send me an email, I'm info@theryansuite.ca. Website is still being built in the back end, but again, not knowing where I'm going with my business, I've just kind of kept that tucked away until I figure that out. But yeah, Instagram is probably the easiest, or email.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful. And I can't wait to like maybe we'll have you back on the podcast. We can talk a little bit more about these services that you offer for designers. And you and I are going to
I would love
chat
to.
offline about pup. Thank you
I would
so
love
much
to.
for being my guest today, Krystal.
Thank you for having me. I've loved it.
I love that episode with Krystal. I actually really loved it because she took power of process without needing to be a fully established interior designer. She wasn't going after a full service design firm, and yet she was guided by Jamie to take the course. And she has found it to be impactful. She's using what she's learned. She's now helping other designers to implement. And if you guys really enjoyed this episode and you loved Krystal's story, please go give her a follow, say hi, and of course, stay tuned for this Power of Process that's coming out September, because Krystal may or may not be there helping us. At the very least, she will be there in the Zoom calls as an alumni, but I'm going to work with her to see what else we can cook up. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. And if you want to know more about Power of Process, just go to RebeccaHay.com/power of process. And I look forward to welcoming you in our next cohort. See you soon.